Thanks for joining me, Chad. Obviously, the purpose of this call was to set up a video call between me and you, so that people could understand what onboarding is here, and what BenchCamp is, and what people can look forward to when they start to join. So, obviously, I've been introduced to you a few times now. So, from your side of things, who are you? And what's your role at BenchSci?
Yeah, my name is Chad Thompson. My role here at BenchSci is, so I'm a talent engagement specialist, is the title, and my main role is helping the organization connect new hires specifically to the culture of what we are, what it is to be a BenchSci. What does it mean to be part of this organization, among other things. I do a lot of other things, kind of culture-based and those sort of things, but my main focus is how to help these new employees or even current employees really connect to the mission, vision, and values of BenchSci.
Okay, perfect. So you mentioned obviously you're going to help them fit into the culture. From your side of things, what is the culture here at BenchSci from your point of view?
Yeah, I love that question, because what's really cool about culture is that culture is not how one person, as an organization does anything. Organizations typically don't have culture. It's the people of that organization. It's how those people do everything is what creates this culture. And what's really dynamic and cool, I find, about BenchSci specifically, is that it's a very intentional culture within the organization, that people really want to do great things so that our BenchSci can do great things. And I've worked for a lot of culture-based, very culture-focused organizations, and I actually don't think I've ever worked for one that is as intentional on building culture in a real way, so that people love where they work, that they're doing the best work of their lives, and that we're able to achieve this idea of success beyond success. That it's not about just being successful in your role, but being successful outside in life as well.
Totally agree. I've literally just done my onboarding with you, and that's what comes across straight away.
Awesome.
So, well done.
Nailed it.
So, what is onboarding? What is BenchCamp? What is that? And what is that someone joining BenchSci can expect?
Yeah, so it's funny. We've actually been hearing that we're getting new hires or people applying for roles at BenchSci because they've heard through the grapevine or through people or through friends that the onboarding was incredible and they really enjoyed it. So in building the program, myself and Rola is kind of the brains behind all of it. She kind of gets everything all structured and organized, and all the learnings that are asynchronous, so outside of what you would do the live sessions with myself, she's kind of really platformed that. So the main focus for us with onboarding, I'm a big Simon Sinek fan, and I truly believe people don't buy what you do, but they buy why you do it. And for us, our entire program is designed around that. It's not connecting people or new hires to what we do, but more importantly, why we do it. And for us as BenchSciers, our ability to really affect change in the world and help the world do science better in a real way, not like hypothetical, maybe it is 100% able to help scientists do their job better, and that in a real way, and help them be empowered to make these grandiose experiments in a real way and get them done faster in a more tactful way, if you would.
Yeah.
So for us, is the entire onboarding program is designed around that. So, connecting people to our values. Any organization that's when you're able to take your values of an organization and really connect them with the values of individuals, you get a much more engaged workforce. Because the work that I'm doing, if I'm doing whatever I'm doing, if I'm working hard at that and my values are aligned with the organization, the likelihood of me wavering off or not doing a good job or what have you is far less, because my thoughts, my instincts to do that work is fully in line with the organization. And at BenchSci, that's something that's really, really important. Really elevate our FAST values, which are focus, advancement, speed, tenacity, and transparency, and really trying to allow people to kind of see where does that fit in you? as you came through, Sean, like how did you see those, how they connected with you and where your life is? And those are really important. So what we did is we built this program called BenchCamp. And so BenchCamp is what we came with, this idea of we work hard, every one of us at BenchSci. And there's this journey, and think of like this giant mountain kind of in front of us that we're going to be climbing up. Yeah. And so everybody needs a base camp. Everyone needs a place to start. And so for us, we decided, we were like, what's a better idea is maybe that's what this is. Like our onboarding is our base camp. It's where you get all those tools that's going to be necessary as you move forward. And tools not necessarily being the programs and stuff like that, although that is in the program, in our onboarding. But the more importantly is those value-based, what does it actually mean to be a part of this organization? So we kind of fill that up. And the neat thing about our BenchCamp program is that it's not just we have a manager onboarding, which goes through BenchCamp. We have re-onboarding. So you've been off for a long time. You're coming back into the organization. As we're a hyper growth organization, we're growing rapidly. And so some people, maybe you've been off on maternity leave and now you're coming back, or paternity leave, and you're coming back and you're like, oh my goodness, like we went from 10 people to now we have 275. Like that's a big change. Yeah. So bringing people back in and saying, hey, this is what we are. So ideally that's it. The main focus of our onboarding or BenchCamp onboarding for us is that connecting people to our values, our mission, and what it really means to be a BenchScier, and then also to give them the tools and strategies they need to kind of move forward in the organization and really do the best work of their lives, and have this idea for us is this success beyond success. Not just being great at your job, but also growing as a person, being a great person.
Brilliant answer, as always. So there's obviously a lot of kind of stages, all good stages, all like great knowledge that we kind of, yourself and Relevant impart to everyone. For you, what's your favorite part of it? What's the bit that really sticks out for you when you're going through this? So when you were like a week and a half ago now, look, not even that long ago when you're doing mine. So what's your favorite part to introduce to people?
Man, that's such a great question. Honestly, so for me, the truth is I really, everyone thinks that, I'm a very high energy and I can talk to anybody. So they're like, oh, Chad, you'd be a great salesman. The problem is I'm a terrible salesman when it comes to selling things that I have to sell. But I'm really good at talking about things that I'm passionate about or that mean something to me. And so when you ask me to pick out the best, there's so many moments in our onboarding program, and we designed it like that on purpose, is that there's so many moments that are for me that talk to the heart. Like it's not about what, but it's this true kind of sinking into why we do what we do.
And that's a good point, actually. I'll kind of change the question around a tiny bit. What's the bit that really like pulled on the heartstrings a bit then?
Yeah, for me, the idea of why, like our mission and our values, so our day 2 program, kind of, we call it the story of BenchSci. And within that story, we start out leaning into our values and our mission statement and kind of what's really important to us as an organization. And we talk about, the growth and development and how it came to be, which is also critical. And what I really love about those two things is those values that we talk about. You can see them just even in the nuances of the beginning of the company. That this isn't something that just kind of, oh, hey, what's a value we should pick? Oh, here's a good one. They kind of look back and we're like, oh, like this has been a huge part of why we're successful. That's clearly a value. And so these values are anchored in the creation of BenchSci, not just the overall growth of BenchSci. So it's not something that just popped up. And for me, that was a big thing. And the other thing for me is the mission. Sometimes there's this fog around pharmaceuticals, and I understand the basis, but our ability to help these scientists who are doing real important work that are trying to save people's lives in a real way, I have a part in that. What I do allows them to do their job better, and which is, that's for me, that's it. That's the that's the stick in the sand. That's the moment that I was like, wow, like I've worked for, as I said, incredible organizations before, but I've never been able to have the effect on the world that I can have here.
Yeah. I remember we spoke about that on the mission during onboarding. So what's the mission? I remember giving an example to yourself about, say, like Apollo 13, not everyone was an astronaut, but there were a lot of people that were on the same team that weren't astronauts, engineers, all sorts. They still had the same mission, they still had the same goal. And that was, that really struck home for me as well. My
favorite part about missions, a lot of people think goal, like I want to get to the end, and that's not a mission. The mission is deeper than that. It's why I want to accomplish that task, whatever it is. Why do I want to bring novel medicine to people 50% faster by empowering scientists? Why do I want to do that? Well, that is why, right? It's that idea that we can actually save and change people's lives in a real way.
100%, and it's exact same here. I think that I think for most people, that is a genuine reason why you want to kind of be a part of it, and it does pull on your heartstrings straight away. You're like, I could be this, small clog in a big massive machine. Fantastic, it's awesome. So thank you for that. That's a great answer. Now I know you love a quote. So option for you is either a quote, but what's the number one tip you could give, or one bit of advice you'd give people for starting their onboarding and starting at BenchSci? So either a quote, because I know you love one, or just a general bit of advice.
Yeah. Cheapers. You know what? I would actually do two, if that's okay. I'm gonna steal both.
You go ahead.
I'm gonna steal both. My grandfather was one of my favorite people in my life. The most important person, one of them. And the two things he used to say to me, number one, find a job you love and you never work a day in your life.
Very true.
But the other thing is find a company, find a place you want to work where everybody's rowing in the same direction, where everybody's pulling on the same rope, trying to attain the same goal.
Yeah.
And as I said, I've worked for multiple organizations. And BenchSci is the first that I can truly say that, and I think I know like at least 90% of our entire organization. I've either met them or seen them or had a conversation with them. And truthfully, everybody is pulling in the same direction. Everybody is rowing towards the same goal. So that would be the thing. So when you're coming in, understanding as a new BenchScier that if you connect, when you see this amazing post that Sean will post, and you're gonna be like, yes, I want to work there. Truly do the deep dive into the organization and connect. Because if you do that and you are truly connected to it, then I promise this is a place you'll want to work and you will succeed at, because what you see is actually what you like. It's not lip service. It's not just let's put this beautiful picture up so people can come in the door and then we've got you. That's not it. It is honestly that place where people want to do the best work of their lives and attain success beyond success in a real way. So that would be it. And then my tip would be come all in. Like this is an organization where you can actually, like we send you maybe I'm breaking the fourth wall here, but we're going to send a book called Radical Candor. And the idea of being honest and upfront.
You mean this book, Radical Candor?
That's the book. There you go. That's amazing. And the idea of Radical Candor is, challenging directly with an issue, but caring deeply, which to me is actually probably a great representation of BenchSci, is that we are heading at a challenge directly every single day. We are trying to make scientific experiments easier and simpler for the world, and we care deeply. And so if you take that idea of coming into the organization with that mentality that I'm going to challenge myself personally, who I am, and this journey of finding success beyond success for me personally, and I'm going to care deeply about the work I'm doing and the people I'm working with, then that's when you get huge success. That's when everything really changes and you're going to be extremely happy here.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's two things.
Nice.
I also love, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up somewhere else. And so you should do
that was my favorite. That was my favorite one from the onboarding.
Yeah.
I like that. I enjoy that one.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah. Well, that's that, mate. Honestly, that's absolutely amazing. That's kind of what I wanted to cover with you. So, unless there's any other words of wisdom from yourself, thank you very much, and everyone can look forward to watching the video later on.
Oh, I'm so excited. I think it was. Thank you so much for the time. I always
Pleasure.
enjoy hanging out with Sean.
Nice. All right. Thanks, mate. Bye bye.
No problem. Bye.